AEW is being sued, plus TNA signing a released WWE star, plus we're going to talk about Mike Bailey and AEW.
Yes.
Don't forget, everybody, we are giving away a World Championship replica belt at 100,000 subscribers, so go ahead and click subscribe for a chance to win. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously, I am regaining my voice, so I do apologize in advance. As you guys know, I was very ill, so I do apologize for that. But I want to kick things off with Mike Bailey. As you guys saw, AEW officially confirmed that he is coming to AEW. They had a really cool vignette that they put together on Collision. Obviously, I'm very excited about Mike Bailey coming to AEW. I've said this for a very long time. Even when it came to announcing where he was going to go, I said, guys, Mike Bailey deserves to be on national TV, on a TV deal that, everybody could see his work. Whether it's WWE, AEW, it doesn't matter. Mike Bailey is one of the nicest guys I have ever met in professional wrestling. This guy is incredibly talented. And when you see good guys, you want to see them win. And Mike Bailey is just one of those guys where 1,000,000% I want to see him on TV doing his thing. With that being said, the reason for why he wasn't in AEW and why it took so long is because AEW has been working on visa issues. And this was obviously a very big deal, a very big concern. But the good news is it looks like they got it all figured out and sorted out. Mike Bailey is going to go into AEW and he's going to do phenomenal things in AEW. He's going to have great matches in AEW. For people who don't know who Mike Bailey is, you are going to love watching this guy. Obviously, Mike Bailey kind of suffers from not having too much character work, but in AEW, obviously, Tony Khan is more of a matchmaker than a storyline writer. And I think, obviously some people have their preferences, but for a professional wrestling company who focuses on where the best wrestle, obviously it makes sense for Mike Bailey to be there. And it makes sense for him to be presented as a phenomenal wrestler. And that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to go in there and have banger matches. Now, I don't know if they have plans for Mike Bailey, holding championships and things of that nature, but I would love to see him mix it up with Konosuke Takeshita, International Championship. I want to see him in the ring with Ospreay. I want to see him in the ring with Ricochet. Those are the matchups that I want to see with Mike Bailey. So even though it took a lot of time for us to get here, the good news is he is officially coming. And again, I might criticize AEW and their storytelling, but one thing I will not do is criticize Mike Bailey and his abilities. What a great guy. Super excited it's finally happening. All right, guys, TNA is in talks. They have interest, and this is really cool because obviously some people get released from WWE and they tend to just quit. According to Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda's Backstage Pass, TNA Wrestling is actively in talks with Elektra Lopez, and sources say there is a very high interest in bringing her in once her 90-day non-compete clause expires. Other companies have actually shown interest in signing Lopez, and it actually appears that she is leaning towards joining TNA. And obviously, the transition is relatively easy, right? They have the partnership with WWE. Obviously, she's worked NXT. So if for some reason they want to bring her in and they want to utilize that partnership with her, that's the best of both worlds. The thing is, when you get released by WWE, you have two options. You can show WWE what they missed out on and go on to have a very successful career, or you can basically just quit. And there have been people who have been released and they've stepped away from wrestling. Maybe they felt like it was better to go and do OnlyFans, or maybe they felt like it was better to go and do podcasting and modeling or Hollywood. And there's nothing wrong with doing other ventures outside of wrestling, but you never really know who's going to step away completely or who is going to keep going. And Elektra Lopez was somebody who, especially on the main roster, they definitely used her more of that manager role. And she was good, right? Like, she was good. But at the same time, too, a lot of people forget that Elektra Lopez was somebody who aspired to be a wrestler and was a wrestler and actually had wrestling matches. And we've seen Elektra Lopez have wrestling matches in NXT. The nice thing about going to TNA is I think there's a lot less pressure for her to go and be successful. but it allows her to get more reps. And TNA, as you guys know, they've had a lot of people leave the women's division. So the good thing is she could go to TNA, try and get better and improve, maybe even get over. And you never know. Maybe it leads to an opportunity within WWE or AEW. I think what's really good about this kind of situation is that just because you got released doesn't mean you have to be done completely. I think that's the biggest thing. So the fact is, Elektra Lopez is given a new opportunity, and she'll still be on TV in some capacity, but she'll be given this new opportunity and she'll be able to go and do some things. And obviously, for her and for longevity reasons, TNA existing and being able to provide that could be a very big blessing long term. So I'm excited to see what happens here. She's not going to go there and change the game, but she could go there, get even more development, and she kind of fills a void where women's roster in TNA is just a little bit depleted. So very, very cool thing there. All right, guys, Ryan Nemeth is reportedly suing AEW. He filed a lawsuit against AEW, Tony Khan, and CM Punk. This is really crazy. Fightful had dropped some very interesting details on this. Basically, the lawsuit alleges assault, breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, and intentional interference with prospective advantage. The lawsuit was officially filed on February 14th. There is no case number, so it is not yet listed online. Ryan Nemeth is basically, I mean, as you guys know, Ryan Nemeth is the brother of Nick Nemeth. This is, really interesting because we've seen him show up in TNA, and there really wasn't much about his exit from AEW. Basically, from the lawsuit, it says that Ryan Nemeth is a successful actor, comedian, and stuntman, also a professional wrestler. He was under contract with AEW, which is owned by Shahad Khan and Tony Khan. Basically, there's a couple things in here that was relatively crazy. Phil Brooks was considered an employee of AEW, serving in a role of executive leadership. In early 2023, it alleged that Brooks assaulted and battered two fellow wrestlers known by the stage names of Matt and Nick Jackson. Brooks is known to have an uncontrollable temper and often lashes out in violent tirades against others. Thus, the defendants were on notice regarding Brooks' violence proclivities. Basically, rather than Tony Khan removing CM Punk from the roster, Tony Khan made the decision only to suspend him. Basically, Tony Khan obviously had CM Punk produce Collision. Ryan Nemeth was kept off of television. Nemeth contacted AEW executives within AEW to tell his employer that he was worried that Brooks would come back to the wrestling circuit following his suspension and assault him. Dude, this is just crazy. I mean, there's so much. Basically, Nemeth on June 17, 2023, Nemeth again contacted AEW's legal department to complain that he was being punished for doing nothing. It was then that Nemeth discovered the real reason why he was being benched, which was based on CM Punk. Listen, I don't know. There's so much that is in this. Nemeth is seeking compensatory damages, punitive damages, and demands a jury trial. In December 2024, Fightful Select had reported that Nemeth submitted a complaint to numerous AEW executives that outlined a timeline of events that he says highlight abuse, harassment, and threats he faced while working in AEW. Wow. I mean, guys, we'll see what happens. It's a lawsuit. We have a legal system for a reason, a judicial process. I think really what this is going to do, though, if this goes to a jury and stuff like that, I think it's really going to open up the curtain a little bit on what happened with Punk and the Young Bucks and the Elite and everything. And obviously for Tony Khan, a lot of people are speculating this might lead to a settlement. We'll see. Who knows? Does this hurt AEW? I don't really think so, but it's a pretty big lawsuit. So let me know what you guys think down below.